All right, so today was a day of beautiful eulogizing and remembrance of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Huge cast of people, U.S., world leaders, led by President Trump, who himself gave a touching eulogy for the late Senator Graham, as we have already reported. But I want to raise a very important point, and that is, with respect to Lindsey Graham, he was a great supporter of Israel, and he understood how important it was that the U.S. and Israel work together to destroy the crazy Nazi-like Islamist Revolutionary Guard in Iran. And I think this is a particularly important point, not only for the war, and who knows where this war is going to lead. Diplomacy is operating, but has not ever been successful, and we may yet rely heavily on Israeli intelligence for decapitation and perhaps even covert operations with our friends in Israel and their great intelligence service, the Mossad. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But here at home, taking potshots at Israel by senior leaders is not a good idea in an era of growing anti-Semitism. Now, the Democratic Party has essentially abandoned the state of Israel, and its socialist wing, which seems to be ascendant right now, is based and motivated and animated by anti-Semitism and hatred and bigotry of the state of Israel, of Jewish people. And of course, we know from history that this kind of hatred and bigotry aimed at one group will grow, enlarge into other groups as well. This is a point I've made time and time again. And for some reason, we have not seen leading politicians, Jewish politicians, non-Jewish politicians, we haven't seen them stand up for Israel, with just a few exceptions, a few important exceptions. By the by, Lindsey Graham was one of those exceptions. He stood up very strongly to fight anti-Semitism. Now, we've had spats before in history, you know, with wartime. Churchill and FDR had their occasional squalls and disagreements. Mr. Trump has his occasionally with Benjamin Netanyahu. But they are great wartime partners, as Mr. Trump has said time and time again. And that story is not over. Meanwhile, my last point here, before we move on to our guest, Roger Zakheim, is his key point, Zakheim's key point, that Israel's influence around the world is growing. It is not shrinking. And I don't care what the media may be reporting. The fact of the matter is, whether it's Latin America, whether it's England, Canada, Europe, Eastern Europe, country after country is working with Israel, realizing their trade and technology values, their natural resource values of natural gas and oil in the Mediterranean, realizing how strong their war capabilities are and learning from those war capabilities and their intelligence service, the Mossad, and other secret intelligence services that Israel sponsors. In other words, if this story were reported properly, rather than shrinking influence, Israel would be expanding influence. And that leaves me with my last point on the Abraham Accords. Israel, of course, a party to the original Abraham Accords, which are growing, and Israel providing important technology and intelligence assistance to Saudi Arabia and other Gulf state allies, probably will be in the business of expanding the Abraham Accords over a period of time during this war and after Iran is completely destroyed. So my point is, I'm glad to see Mr. Netanyahu here. I am sorry of the passing of Senator Lindsey Graham, who was a great friend of Israel. But I will simply say, at this point in history, freedom-loving people everywhere, certainly myself included, should be on the side of the state of Israel and should be looking to smash any vestiges of anti-Semitism wherever they crop up. And that's my short riff this